UFC Fight Night Strickland versus Imavov is now taking place on the weekend in place of Imavov versus Gastelum. And today I'm taking off my matchmaker hat, okay? I'm setting it to the side next to my secret juice, okay? And I'm putting on my predictions hat. As you can see in the corner, I went 18 and 7 last year. Now that might look quite bad compared to a lot of other people, like the Weasel. He's got his stats. I only did 2 videos, okay? And one of my videos, I went 10 and 2. And then the Strickland versus Cannonier card, I unfortunately did go like 8 and 5. But this year, my resume is going to be much better. I promise you that, okay? So I'm welcoming you back to the most subscribed channel on YouTube, the single biggest MMA channel ever on YouTube. Like anything to do with MMA, we're the biggest on this channel. It's a fact, okay? I just want to say thank you for 1,000 subscribers, but I'll talk to you more about that at the end. We're going to get straight into the picks. We're going to move down to the early prelims with Priscilla Cachoeira versus Sijara Eubanks. I'm a bit surprised that Eubanks is the favorite because I'm actually going to go with Cachoeira here. Sijara Eubanks is like 8 and 7 overall. She's been quite streaky in the UFC. She's had some good close fights against highly ranked people, but she's really just not a contender at flyweight at the moment. So I'm going to lean toward Cachoeira. I know Sijara Eubanks kind of struggles with the weight cut. That's kind of a common thing that most people know about her. But overall, skill for skill, I'm going to pick Priscilla Cachoeira, getting it done by a close decision. I'm going to say Priscilla Cachoeira wins this fight by decision. Especially with these odds. Like Sijara Eubanks being a 2-1 favorite is quite insane when she's 8 and 7. I know it's women's MMA. Oh, fuck off. What is this? What is this? What is this opening? Stop trying to distract me. Okay? Moving on to this fight that just opened up on my fucking screen. Charles Johnson versus Jimmy Flick in the flyweight division. I'm going to go with Charles Johnson to win this fight. I know he lost to Muhammad Mokaev, but he's already bounced back with a win. He's quite good. Like, he did quite well against Mokaev. And, you know, he looked good in his last performance. And Jimmy Flick is kind of an up-and-down kind of guy at flyweight. I remember when he debuted in the UFC, and now he's here in this fight. And I just think the activity will be on Charles Johnson's side, and the kind of the motivation for Charles Johnson will be there more than Jimmy Flick, so I'm going to lean towards Charles Johnson. I'm assuming he's a favorite. I'm going to go with Charles Johnson by... I'm going to say Charles Johnson finishes Jimmy Flick in round 2 or round 3 of this fight. I'm going to move quite quickly through these prelim fights and kind of get deeper into the main card fights. Daniel Argueta versus Nick Aguirre. I think this fight got changed. I think it was someone else versus Daniel Argueta originally. I'm going to lean towards Argueta in this fight. I got to be honest. I'm just going to shoot you straight here. Man to man, sit you down and say, I don't give a flying fuck about this fight, so I'm just going to pick Argueta because he has a picture, and this guy doesn't, okay? We move on to the flyweight division. Alan Nascimento, Carlos Hernandez. I'm going to lean with the odds here. I'm going to say Alan Nascimento gets this fight done. Probably by submission. Or he's going to finish this fight. I think he's looked quite good at flyweight, so I'm going to say Alan Nascimento wins this fight. By finish, not really much else to say. Not a super compelling bout in terms of who you think is going to win. I'm excited to see Nascimento fight. I think he's going to get this one done quite easily. Moving on to the bantamweight division, this is a fight I'm excited about. Javid Basharat versus Mateus Mendonça. I think Mendonça trains with Charles Oliveira at Shooter Box. Javid Basharat, of course, came off the Contender Series. He looked so good in that fight. I think he's won 2 fights in the UFC. He fought Tony Gravely. I think in his last one, he looked really good. I'm going to lean towards Javid Basharat to get this one down by decision. I think Mendonça is going to be tough. I think he's going to do quite well. I think he's undefeated, so I can see him doing quite well. But having a UFC debut against Javid Basharat is just a tough task for anyone. And look, if he gets it done, that's a big deal. But I think Javid Basharat is going to find a way to win this fight. I won't say by TKO. I think if he's going to get it done, it'll be later rounds. I might say round 3 kind of submission or unanimous decision for Javid Basharat in this fight. I think he's going to, as the fight goes on, he's going to get much better. At first, he may struggle a little bit with Mendonça, but I'm going to say Javid Basharat gets this one done round 3 or by unanimous decision. Very excited to watch Javid Basharat fight. I shouted him out in my future champions in the divisions video as one of my unranked future bantamweight champions, and I really think he can go quite far at bantamweight, so I'm really excited to see him fight. Can these things stop fucking coming up, dude? Who built this website, bro? God damn. What the power slap whoever made this website, dude. Alright, we're moving on. Lightweight division. Mateus Rebecki versus Nick Fiore. I know Nick Fiore trains with the New England Cartel. That's right. He trains with Calvin Cater, Rob Font, those guys down there in New England. I know he's undefeated. He's coming... he's coming into the UFC. People are kind of excited about it, but I'm going to lean towards Rebecca to win this fight. I think Nick Fiore's stats are a bit padded, if that's how you want to put it. If you're an NBA fan, you know what I mean by that. His record's a bit padded. I think Rebecca looked quite good in his last fight, and I'm going to lean towards Mateus Rebecca to finish this fight. Round 1 or round 2, I say Rebecca gets it done. So far we've got Rebecca, Basharat, Nascimento, Argueta, Johnson, and Cachoeira winning. And I'm going to move on to the middleweight prelim headliner. Claudio Ribeiro coming off the Contender Series versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan. I think his last fight was Joaquin Buckley. Very, very explosive guys here. I can see a finish happening for sure. Now, there's 2 ways I want to lean with this. I think Ribeiro is the favorite here because he's coming off that 20-second knockout in the Contender Series. Brutal, brutal stuff. He's a big, explosive guy. He swings really wildly. He kind of takes caution to the wind. Very exciting fighter. Abdul Razak Al Hassan's a bit similar. He's very explosive, very dangerous. He's a bit more measured than Claudio Ribeiro. If Abdul Razak Al Hassan is a good underdog, I would say you should take Al Hassan on this fight because Claudio Ribeiro has a very bad habit of catching kicks and reaching for kicks. And I can just see him reaching for a leg kick and catching a head kick to the right upside the temple. Either way, it's tough, man. It's really tough because I can see either Claudio Ribeiro catching a kick and then putting Razak Al Hassan down with a right hand, like catching the kick and pulling him into a punch and finishing him. Similar kind of how Chaos Williams did. Or I can see Abdul Razak Al Hassan catching him when Ribeiro gets reaching. So I think he's the underdog. I'm going to say Razak Al Hassan is going to be more patient, going to see things a bit better in the octagon. And I'm going to say he's going to find an opening in Ribeiro's defense because it's very, very open for a shot there with a feint of a leg kick even. I'm going to say Abdul Razak Al Hassan by round 2 or round 1 knockout over Claudio Ribeiro in the main event of the prelim. So my picks are Al Hassan, Rebecca, Basharat, Nascimento, Argueta, Johnson, and Cachoeira on the prelims. And now I'm going to go up to the main card. Number 11, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Hani Barcelos. 7-1 favorite is fucking crazy. Barcelos is quite good. I know I think he beat Saeed Magomedov, excuse me. I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, it's Nurmagomedov, right? I don't know. There's a lot of Magomeds in UFC, okay? Can you, let it slide, alright, dude? Yeah? Come on, man. Cut me some slack, alright? I'm going to pick Nurmagomedov to win this fight, round 3 submission or unanimous decision, but Hani Barcelos will give him some trouble early on. He's a very, very good underdog here. If you're going to bet on an underdog in this card, I would say Hani Barcelos is probably your guy to do it. Just on those odds, man, he's quite good. He's not a 5-1 underdog level at bantamweight. He's quite good, so I think this is going to be a good test for Umar, but I'm going to say Umar gets it done by submission in round 3. Fuck off, dude. Holy shit. I'm so sick of this website, dude. I should have just gone on Google, bro, but I want to up my production a bit, you know? Look at the picture I got of Aljo here. It's a nice photo of Aljo. You know, we're stepping up the production around here, okay, at the Bedtime Studios, and I thought, okay, I'll go on the UFC website. We've got the pictures, we've got the odds. No, I'm not doing this shit next time. I'm not clicking on this shit. Okay, but that's my pick. Umar Nurmagomedov, round 3 submission or unanimous decision victory for Umar. We move on. Women's bantamweight division. Number 2, Ketlen Viera versus number 5, Raquel Pennington. Raquel Pennington's looked actually quite good in a few of her last fights. I know it's kind of a meme, like Pennington, when they put her on a pay-per-view, and she's on embedded for 60% of the fucking runtime. Every time. It's legit a McGregor card. She's on there 60% of the time. No one fucking cares. However, she's actually quite good at the moment. I can see her doing well against Ketlen Viera. However, I'm going to pick Viera to win this fight by decision, 29-28. She's on a good run. She's really rebounded quite well from her loss to Irene Aldana, and I think that she is at the peak right now. She's at her prime right now. One win right here, she gets a title shot, and she's really just figured out how to kind of win fights in the UFC. Even if it's not a pretty performance, she kind of knows how to get it done, so I'm going to lean Ketlen Viera here. Pretty fair pick, I say. Especially with these odds, I'm going to pick Viera to win by unanimous decision. So that's my pick. We're going to move on to the middleweight division. Punahele Soriano versus Roman Kopylov. Just looking up these two in terms of their competition and their record, I'm going to pick Punahele Soriano. I think he's just fought better guys so far at middleweight. He's more explosive. I can see him getting a finish here, round 2 or round 3 by knockout. Roman Kopylov's quite good, but I just think Soriano has just fought better people at middleweight. He's going to be more comfortable. He's going to see a lot more again. That's a big deal, you know what I mean? Especially these upper weight classes. The more you see, the more you're going to find that opening. It really doesn't take much to win these fights when you have so much power on both ends. And I'm going to say Punahele Soriano is going to find a nice finish in round 2 or round 3 of this fight and get a TKO. Moving on to the co-main event, dude. Co-main event. Dan Ige, Damon Jackson for the co-main event of a fucking fight night. What are we doing, boys? What are we fucking doing, boys? I'm going to say Dan Ige gets this done by KO round 3. TKO round 3, I guess. KO, TKO. I can see Damon Jackson doing quite well early on. He's a big guy, especially compared to Dan Ige. He's on quite a good streak. I think he's on a 4-5 winning streak since that loss to Ilia Topuria. That's happened quite quickly. But Dan Ige, I think he's coming off a win against some guy that was debuting in the UFC. It was a short notice opponent, I believe. He lost pretty badly to Movsar Evloev, but Movsar Evloev was undefeated. So we'll have to see if that ages well or ages poorly. But right now, you can't really blame him, you know. He's been up and down at featherweight, but he's generally quite good against unranked opponents. He's generally like a consistently guy that's worth being in the rankings. So I'm going to say Dan Ige finds a way to finish this fight. Round 3 TKO when he gets Damon Jackson up against the fence. Round 2 or round 3, I'm saying he's going to get him up against the fence. He's going to find an overhand or a left hook or something and finish Damon Jackson up against the fence and look to fight someone up in the rankings later in the year. Maybe on a pay-per-view, on the prelims of a pay-per-view. That's where he really belongs. A matchup like this, that's where that belongs. So the fact that it's a co-main event, good job, Dana. Good work, guys, at the matchmaking offices. You guys need to hire me, man. I'm sick of saying it. You need to hire me at the UFC, okay? I'm going to move on to this main event. I'm actually pretty excited about this change. So Kelvin Gastelum's out. Sean Strickland is in. And now Nassourdine Imavov is fighting number 7 Sean Strickland in a 5-round light heavyweight main event. And Nassourdine Imavov is the favorite. I understand, okay? I know Nassourdine Imavov has been preparing for a fight. And Sean Strickland hasn't. I know that Nassourdine Imavov has been drilling to have all these positions that's going to take place in a 5-round fight against a big guy at middleweight. And now he's at light heavyweight. I know that he's probably more prepared than Sean Strickland. However, the way that he gassed out against Joaquin Buckley, it's not from the pace of that fight. It was not a crazy paced fight. That is a natural condition. That's like Conor McGregor's cardio, right? It's natural. Some guys have that explosive, fast twitch muscle fiber, and they do slow down. It doesn't matter what they do, they slow down eventually. The more they output, they can't help but just swing hard and hit hard and have explosive muscle fibers. And some guys can last all day in the gym, doesn't matter what they do. Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, when he's on that, you know what I'm saying. Sean Strickland is a guy that can last 25 minutes quite easily. He doesn't swing with a lot of power. He's a volume guy. He's a pressure guy. And he's right there to be hit. So, right now, I'm going to pick Sean Strickland to win this fight by unanimous decision. Do I think he's going to get tagged up on the feet and he's going to get hurt at one point? Yes, I do. Because Nassourdine Imavov is a very good striker. He's a very powerful guy. He's a big middleweight. However, I think him not cutting to middleweight is actually going to affect his cardio more than it's going to affect Sean Strickland's. Sean Strickland's in the gym, dude. People are, I don't want to, I'm going to name names actually. Guru said, Sean Strickland, he hasn't been preparing. He's been motorbiking. Guess what he did like a week after the fight against Cannonier? He's in the gym sparring. This guy is in sparring shape at all times. You know he's in the gym sparring. You know he's in the gym grappling. He took no damage in that fight. He just had a fight camp like less than a month ago. Like he just peaked at a fight camp less than a month ago. Okay? If you think Sean Strickland can't go 25 minutes against a guy that historically slows down, even in slow-paced fights, I'm sorry, but it's just not gonna. He's gonna be able to make it 25 minutes if he doesn't get finished in the first 2 rounds. That's my prediction. So I think that Nassourdine Imavov not cutting down to middleweight, he may seem more prepared, but I feel like that's actually going to affect his conditioning. And I'm going to lean to Sean Strickland by unanimous decision, 48-47 to win this fight, and move on to a big fight. I think the UFC will reward him for this fight, regardless of what happens. If he loses, he'll probably get Darren Till or someone just outside the rankings, maybe an Edmund Shabazian fight, something to kind of reward him for his stepping in here. But I actually think Sean Strickland's going to win this fight. I really do. I think Nassourdine Imavov's going to slow down. I think he's going to try and finish Sean Strickland early. That's what I assume he's going to do. That's what he always seems to do. And I also think because Sean Strickland's there to be hit, he kind of leans out of range and he's kind of in your face with that jab constantly. The pressure is going to be there. That jab in the face is going to affect the cardio of Nassourdine Imavov. It's going to affect the rhythm and the timing of him. He's a completely different style from Kelvin Gastelum. When Kelvin Gastelum's in there, Nassourdine Imavov is the guy that's in charge. He's the bigger guy, he's the longer guy. He's the one pumping the jab. He's the one dictating the pace. With Sean Strickland there, he's got a jab in his face. Sean Strickland has longer reach. He's a forward foot fighter. He comes forward the entire time. He's right in front of you to be hit, so you know Nassourdine Imavov is going to be swinging with power. And if he misses a couple of those shots just by a little bit, over 2 rounds, over 3 rounds, I can see him really slowing down, and Sean Strickland's going to be there. If he stays through those first 2 rounds, Sean Strickland's going to be there with the same power, the same level of grappling defense, the same level of grappling. I can definitely see Sean Strickland really, really busting him up in round 4 and round 5 if it gets there. So I'm going to say Sean Strickland wins this by unanimous decision 48-47. A lot of people aren't really picking him, but because of the short notice, but I actually think he's the perfect kind of guy to step in on a short notice fight, especially against a guy that slows down. So let me know what you think down below. Am I wrong? Am I right? Comment down below your predictions for this fight and how you think it's going to go. And we'll see how my ratio is looking after this card. I'm really excited for this card now that Sean Strickland's in. And I'm going to be doing a live stream for this card, so make sure you're subscribed, stay tuned. Thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers, boys. I really appreciate it, dude. It's actually insane to see the channel grow as it has. We're only going up from here, boys. We're going to do more matchmaking videos, more predictions, more streams, more and more and more as the channel grows, man. And, you know, we're going to take over this fucking YouTube shit, bro. No more Luke Thomas. No more fucking Nick Pete. No more of this fucking boring shit, dude. We're fucking taking over this shit, alright? Alright, boys. See you in the next video. Have a good one.